XRP, just above $3 at the time of this recording. Now, earlier today, we were as high as $3.08 or $3.09, but we've had a bit of a pullback. Don't forget this, though. We're in the midst of a government shutdown right now. We do not know how long that's going to last. And further, we don't know how long until financial markets start to get spooked. Now, today, things look strong. Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, most of the crypto market was up a bit. We don't know what tomorrow is going to look like, though, do we? But we're going to clear this. And time again, XRP has shown it's one of the stronger, more explosive crypto assets of this bull run. That's not going to change. We will clear this, and we're going to set new and significant all-time highs. It's just a matter of time at this point. And I don't think, a government shutdown is going to stop this train. Guess what? Nothing. Nothing stops this train. Now, we had a really interesting update today from Ripple in regards to the Linqto bankruptcy. If you remember the current management, they have this plan. They want to take all these really interesting private companies, put it in an ETF, and take it public. And that'd probably be pretty popular. People could get exposure to these investments that they otherwise could not. Well, Ripple's saying not so fast. Not with our stock, you're not doing this. They filed today with the court, and their message was clear here that Ripple, they're a private company by choice. And essentially, if someone's going to go public with their stock, it's going to be them. They're not interested in anyone else doing this. Further, they've given no consent for their public trading of their shares, and a fund package with Ripple stock could distort valuations and harm shareholders. You have this fund is going to be trading. Ripple stock is part of that, probably a big part of it. And those investors, they don't have the financials, they don't have all the specifics on Ripple's business, and it may not trade at fair value. And that could hurt Ripple when they go to the private market down the road to raise funds. They don't want this happening. They think it could hurt them, and they're going to block it. Now, Ripple did say they support a fair outcome for Linqto customers, but they're not going to allow its stock to be used as a backdoor to a public market. How this affects things is, they want to wrap this up quickly in this bankruptcy. I don't know. We're going to have to wait to hear from John Deaton and the other experts. We'll keep an eye on this, and I will update you as those updates come out. Now, I saw this video, this post by Crypto Eddie. It was really interesting. And essentially, what she's saying is we have the main chain for the XRP ledger. We have the EVM side chain, and that Ripple may build or acquire a third chain, an EVM chain. I don't know exactly what the purpose of this would be. Maybe we can guess and discuss down the road. But what this got me thinking is all these chains are all going modular, right? But it's the little things, the difference in design between the XRP ledger and the Ethereum blockchain ecosystem. When we look at Ethereum, also modular, they duplicate all their capabilities across the side chains and the layer 2s. They're all fully smart contract capable. They all use different tokens. And then the design choice for the XRP ledger ecosystem is you have the main chain that's lean, it's quick, it's efficient, it's payment focused with some light programmability coming. Then you have the full EVM smart contract capability on the side chain, and then maybe this third chain. But all of them use XRP as gas. So that's another difference. XRP is used across all of these chains instead of every chain having its own token. Just an interesting difference in design, which is going to drive value and adoption the most. Well, only time will tell. But those are two key differences between these two ecosystems here. Again, if she's guessing, I think she sees something there. And more times than not, Crypto Eddie's right. We'll have to keep an eye on that one here. Now, Ripple put this out. It's really interesting. Without privacy, financial institutions cannot safely use public ledgers. Without accountability, regulators cannot sign off. With programmability, privacy, well, we can have both. And so this is going to be an area of focus. And, this comes into a lot of things. DeFi has some specific requirements for institutions and money transmitters. They have to either have closed off systems where they've KYC'd everyone for those DeFi systems that they use, or they have to use a fund of some sort or something else. And then, when they're sending payments, they can't just broadcast everything to the public. They have to have some level of privacy. And again, Ripple's looking to design that, and that will be a focus as we go forward. Always remember, the things that you and I need are not always the same as what we see with these major institutions. They have special requirements, and the future will absolutely demand that of them if they're going to adopt these systems, and that will be a big driver of value. Privacy is a big deal. Now, that doesn't mean, again, secrecy. Governments, if they need to for regulatory purposes, they could crack in there in any of these systems. They can see that you KYC'd the person, you know who it is. It just means, to the overall public, you don't know who's doing every single transaction like you would on the regular main chain there. Really interesting as they build that out. I am a firm believer of safeguarding your crypto with hardware wallets, and you might want to, like me, consider upgrading into the bigger screens. Ledger has a couple of them. If you're interested there, you want to get off of these little tiny screens like we have on the Nanos, check it out. Have an affiliate link down below. You help out the channel, get yourself a nice new wallet, come into the modern era. I think you'll like it quite a bit. Now, we saw this thing making the rounds today, and it was supposedly a letter from Brad Garlinghouse to investors, and they do have these letters. I've seen them before, but this one has like spelling errors and stuff like that. He's basically saying like, don't worry about Swift. This is just a prototype, all that kind of stuff. That doesn't sound like something Brad Garlinghouse would necessarily say. I think he would affirm Ripple's, strength in this industry as a player that's been around and been building out these solutions, but I don't think he would downplay what anyone else is doing. And further, again, there's quite a few oddities of this letter. I don't know what to think about it. If I had to guess, someone typed it up and it's not real, but we will find out. Again, Brad does do these. He writes these letters and sends them out to investors, so it could be real for that reason. But as you read through it, cross-border, just some other stuff is a little bit off, and I have a feeling that some yahoo typed this up. I'm sure we'll find out here in the coming days. XRP price prediction. Swift partners with Ethereum firm. Is Ripple losing the payment race it started? We're seeing a lot of this about Swift partnering with Ethereum, and is Ripple going to lose essentially? And what I would tell you is who's adapting to whose worldview. Because Swift for the longest time said, oh, we don't need blockchain. It has no place in the payment system. Now they are pivoting and trying to do what Ripple has been doing. I would say that tells you who's winning right there, that Ripple all this time has been right. And this proves it more than anything. Now, make no mistake, you can build some very capable systems within Ethereum layer 2, but they're just starting this journey, one that Ripple's been on for a long time. I'm not too concerned about it. Let me know down below what you think about. I covered this a little bit about David Schwartz stepping down as CTO, but one thing I didn't bring up, I brought it up in the past, but you had Jed McCaleb, you had Chris Larson, you had Arthur Britto. All these guys got free tokens. And I always thought it was amazing. The actual builder of the XRP ledger, David Schwartz. I mean, he is the main architect here. That is his baby. He didn't take any free tokens. Now he says, oh, I took stock, I took money. I don't think it's that exactly. I think he has respect for this, and he didn't take free tokens for that reason. Now, I think he has a significant amount of tokens, but every token he has, he bought with his own hard-earned money. That tells you a lot about this guy, and just respect for what he has done here. And I'm excited for his next journey because he's not leaving us. He's sticking around. He's just going to build new things. And I'm excited to see him focused on building and not so much corporate stuff, even though he will be part of the board and he'll have some input over the future of Ripple, which is his other baby, right? It's two things. He helped build that company and he did. He built this blockchain from the ground up. So I'm excited to see what he's going to do. This has been making the rounds. This is an old one. Some people don't know this. The only really project that Satoshi Nakamoto ever mentioned was Ripple. And he says Ripple is the only system that does something with trust besides concentrating it into a central server. He found it interesting. Now remember this is Ripple Pay, Ryan Fugger's system. It did not have a coin. It wasn't really even a blockchain, but it was the basis of what we now know as XRP Ledger. It had trust lines and all sorts of interesting stuff. Jed McCaleb contacted Ryan and purchased that technology, and they built from there everything we have today. And again, it was a system that Satoshi was interested in and named, specifically in the forums as one to pay attention to. I think that's really interesting. Just understand, it's not the current XRP ledger. There was no token yet. There was no real blockchain. It was just a system of people to really trade value. I could paint your house and you could fix my car, and somehow we could account for that in this Ripple Pay system. Really, really interesting. And I think they still run it. I get emails from one of their usernet groups there where they still discuss. They're still trying to make this work. Again, not blockchain, not crypto, just this cool system where hippies can trade various value here. We see Crypto Eddie saying there was an attack. SBI confirmed on October 2nd. Incident took place with SBI Crypto, a subsidiary. They lost about 21 million in this blockchain exploit. Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, Doge, and Bitcoin Cash happens to the best of us. Unfortunately, crypto is a dangerous business. I see a lot of people going after blockchain backer. He sold a third of his portfolio, and he broadcasted it out to everyone and let them know that. people don't like to hear that stuff. They just want to hear crypto's going to go higher. We're all going to make money. They don't want to hear anything that could be even quasi bearish. What I'll tell you is this. It's not good for business. When you're a YouTuber, the only thing you want to say is things are going higher and things look great and it's going to go to the moon and it will never end. And that will drive the most views and the most pats on the back and the most money. This is a business of views. Never forget that. And so if he's telling you something different, it's because he believes it and he thinks it's the right thing to do. You don't have to agree with him. You can have your own opinions. But, I don't understand all the hate. Again, this guy's going to take a hit saying stuff like that in the pocketbook, going to get less views. And this is a big business. You make a lot of money for views. This is financial related, but he doesn't care. He's telling you what he truly believes. And I think, again, even if you disagree with him, you should respect that. And that's the kind of person I want to listen to. Someone that's not going to tell me what I want to hear, that he's going to give me his true opinion, even if it costs him money there, because that's what this is all about. This is about getting views, making money. But, big respect to him, giving you his true opinion. That's what we want out of people in this space, in my opinion, at least. I saw this this on payments.com today. Credit cards bring crypto into everyday life. What they're saying is these reward credit cards that pay you back in Bitcoin or XRP or other crypto. I have one with Robinhood that just gives me cash to my account, right? But I can invest it in different things, stocks or crypto, that this is actually onboarding a lot of people, getting them interested in cryptocurrencies. And, it's not really using the blockchain per se, right? It's using traditional systems, but either way, it's onboarding people in a really, really rapid pace into this industry. And that's pretty cool, in my opinion. Sometimes it's the little things that really get people interested in crypto and investing. And these cards, I guess, are really pushing adoption in a big way, according to payments.com. Coin Bureau said the following: XRP Treasury raise is complete. The NASDAQ listed Vivo Power secured $19 million. I'm not really big into these, these companies that just hold crypto on their treasury, but right now they're the rage and they're going to drive a lot of demand and hype and probably value. Remember, when I talk about these things, though, no matter what they are, I'm not suggesting you go out and buy those stocks. I haven't looked at the companies. I don't know what they do. But, Vivo Power, they're doing some interesting stuff. I know they're going to leverage Flare as well. And so this could really start to continue to pick up the pace, and they could be big, buyers of XRP. And you have your Ethereum ones with Tom Lee there. And of course, the most famous one, Michael Saylor with Infinity Debt, just keeps buying more and more Bitcoin. It's going to be a driver of value, at least until these things blow up here. OpenAI, this is interesting. They hit a $500 billion valuation, surpassing SpaceX as the world's largest startup. Do you think OpenAI is worth $500 billion? Let me know down below. Interested in what you think, or if this is a little bit of an AI bubble. I have no opinion on there. I do love OpenAI's products, that's for sure. Lastly, 3 Big Waves, new podcast by Crypto Eddie and myself. You can find it on X. There'll be a link down below. We have the first episode up, another one coming soon here. Give us a follow. We're at 397 followers on X, trying to get that to 500 here in short order. Really appreciate it. Hope you enjoyed the episodes we'll be rolling out. Let me know what you think down below. As always, please like, please subscribe. The revolution will be televised right here on Jungle Link.